can get more done in 3 months than people do in a whole year. And you can repeat this process 4 times and get more done in the next year than people get done in the next 4 years. Now, I have read the book 12-Week Year multiple times, possibly a little too much, around 4 times, and I've taken notes every single time, and I'm going to break down the exact system that I use myself to set up 12-week years along my year to basically do so much work, people think I'm insane. My promise to you today is that you'll get more done in 12 weeks by following the systems and processes that I'm going to mention in this video than other people do in 12 months. There is 3 main sections to this, which is firstly time machine, secondly precision engineering, and then third is the feedback loop. For time machine, firstly we need to understand the urgency effect. This is basically true for any goal that you set as whenever you see you're going to be your deadline for a goal is getting closer, whether that's for an assignment or for an actual life goal that you have, you'll see your progress will skyrocket near the end, and most people will have it sort of stagnate in the middle or during the starting periods. Because the main problem with, let's say, year-long goals is because 12 months is a lot of time. And it's not enough time for you to feel the urgency, because there's always going to be, let's say, if you're watching this in January, you have 12 months to go achieve it. If you're watching this in maybe June, you have 6 months to achieve it. 6 months, 12 months, 8 months, all of those bits in the middle, you're not going to see that much progress. But what you need to realize is the last 3 months of the year, people they lock in on their goals, as cringe as that might seem, and they'll make incredible amounts of progress because they have something called the urgency effect, which basically states that the closer you are to your deadline, the harder you'll work because you actually feel that time's running out. Which is why the whole concept of the 12-week year is so good, because 12 weeks is about a bit more than, I think, 100 days. Yeah, it's a bit more than 100 days, and it's just enough time for you to do a lot of work as well as have the urgency effect, because the deadline is still fairly close. Secondly, Parkinson's law, which basically states that work expands for the time that you allocate to it. If you give yourself, let's say, a year to do one specific goal, you'll do it in a year. But if you give the same goal in about 3 months, you will also do it in 3 months, as long as the goal is realistic. Like, you can't say, okay, I'm going to go to the NBA next year, and you still don't even know how to bounce the ball properly. Obviously, that's unrealistic, but if you have a level of realism and you set your goals in the correct way, which I'll talk more about later into this video, you will basically be able to do things which are much harder in less periods of time, which is why the urgency effect and the Parkinson's law sort of go hand in hand. Thirdly, the main problem with yearly goals, I've sort of mentioned this, they're really far apart. You can sort of, you don't understand how much time you have. Because a lot of people will take, let's say for me, I see every day as extremely valuable. 24 hours, that's a lot of time. I'm sorry if I mistakenly paused, my nose is blocked. But people see 24 hours as not that much of amount of time, but for me, I see every day as extremely valuable, and I realize in a day you can do a lot of work if you actually do the work and not like procrastinate or waste the time the whole day. The same way, people will see the year as the same standpoint, that it's a very long period of time. And at the start, yes, they'll have that motivation because it's like, oh, it's New Year's, it's time to lock in, winter arc, blah 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 blah. There's a research done, I think by Strava, which is like the running app, on how fast people gave up on their New Year's resolution. It was about, I think, 19 days. Not even 3 weeks. till people started quitting. And this research thing was done like I think pre-COVID. So let's be honest, it probably got worse because attention spans and everything is going worse. The main problem with yearly goals is that there's too much time. And when there's too much time, there's no urgency effect. The Parkinson's law does not work because you just give yourself so much time to do something. And overall, you sort of waste the time for like short-term goals. When you should have a long-term goal, but break it down into 12 weeks goals. Secondly, precise engineering, the execution system. The execution system, it's kind of simple. There isn't that much to explain other than the fact that when you're doing a 12-week year, what I recommend is either have a Notion dashboard or get yourself just like a random notebook. I'm going to show you one of mine. I am going to, So the way my execution system works is I use a little something called confronting the truth, which is a score-based system. As it the basic target is you will write down a list of things that you want to do every single day. For doing the list of things, wait, how did I do it on this one? Let me just explain. Okay, yeah. So over here, this is about a week's time in that I had the content pillar, the gym pillar, the runs pillar, the study pillar, and then, I had all of these, and then I basically had the actual task under it. And for like, let's say things like gym and run, I just had the days. And then with all of this, under that, I wrote days, and then there was Sunday, and there were a bunch of these goals. At the end of my week, what I did is I took every single thing I did, every single thing I didn't, and then I basically did a weekly score. So any day that I got 100, that's 100. Any day I didn't get anything, it's 0. And another one, basically get all of these, divide them with the total amount of tasks, and then at the end of the week, you'll get a score. This score needs to be over 85%, in my essence, to be a success, and you can slowly see this increase over the weeks. And the execution system is just you doing the things and then you having something to track, because tracking is extremely important. If you can't track your progress, you're less likely to do it. There is this diagram, which, you know what, I'm just gonna pull it up. Action to motivation diagram. This is basically the diagram, which I didn't put in the slides, unfortunately, which is that you do a certain level of action, and then you'll see the results, and the results will give you motivation. Because a lot of people see the whole motivation to action cycle as they need to get motivated, and then they can do the action, but what they don't realize is the cycle goes the opposite way around. Action to motivation. I'm trying to find the exact diagram that I want to reference. Yep, it's right here. This is basically what I've been trying to explain. But in this diagram, there's a little bit more complicated one, which is just has results in it. And basically, you want to start doing it. And after the first week, you will see results because you're going to be tracking your results at a percentage weekly rate. For the first week, don't think of it too much. If you're off track, sure, you can get more on track the next week, but realize you need to see a level of tracking and results to motivate yourself to keep going. That's the execution system. For goals, it's quite simply use the SMART technique, which you have specific goals which are measurable and they're achievable, nothing too unrealistic, that are relevant, and you're meant to do it over a time period. Use the 3 pillars, which is health, wealth, relationships, as well. There's a 4th pillar if you want to count it, which is spirituality. If you are religious, or you just like want to figure out why we're all on this planet, you can put that as a pillar as well. But those would be like the only pillars. And use this technique. Be specific. Be measurable. Make sure it's achievable. I don't know what they mean by relevant, other than the fact that it's actually relevant to your life. Time bound, get a time period. And personally, what I also recommend is for the goals, what I recommend is don't have more than, let's say, four big goals for each 12-week year. The best thing you could do is just have one goal and just go all in on it. But I know people would like to have more things. But I would say the max amount would be four big goals that you would want to achieve in 12 weeks. Or just one really big goal that you want to get. Like let's say if you want to start a business, for instance, and let's say you want to start a copywriting agency. I think for the first 12 weeks, copywriting agency is also broken down into a bunch of things. But let's say you just want to learn copywriting. If you go dial right in copywriting 12 weeks and you properly learn, get the resources and you go apply the information, trust me, in 12 weeks you'll be a beast if you use this method properly. Yearly to daily levers, and this is pretty easy. From basically the yearly levers, you're going to break them down to the 3-month levers, which is 12-week year levers, and then from that it goes to the monthly, and then from the monthly it goes to the weekly, and then it goes to the daily. So at the end of every month, have a particular goal that you would want to reach. Let me break this down. Firstly, make your yearly goals. Okay, once you make your yearly goals, break them down very specifically in your 12-week year goals. From the 12-week year goals, from each section, make a monthly goals using the SPARK technique. And then from there, make weekly tasks that you need to get done to hit the monthly thing. And from the weekly tasks, get daily tasks, which is basically what I explained there. I probably should have showed this before I showed it, so you don't get too confused. And yeah, periodization, quite simply, one skill for 4 to 6 weeks. You will become a beast at it. If you wanna learn anything really deep, let's say you want to learn about Alexander the Great, and you want to learn about him to a very good, intense degree, to the point where you could basically recite what color his horses were, or some random detail. If you periodize yourself and you focus on just one skill or one specific thing that you really want to do for 4 to 6 weeks, you'll do incredibly well. And yeah, there isn't really that much to explain. Now the feedback factory. How you're basically going to keep up the cycle and keep doing more and more work and be motivated every single day. Okay. So feedback loops, you want to tighten feedback loops. What I mean by this is make sure you score yourself every single day, because over here, over here, I scored myself every single day, and then with scoring myself every single day, I also scored myself every single week, and then from the week I scored myself every single month, and then from that it breaks down to every single 12-week year. Okay, score yourself. Look at your goals like a psychopath. I don't do this nowadays, but I feel like it's really important for the start of your journey to do it, which personally is just have your wallpaper as your goals. Or if you don't want to do that, it's just in the morning, just look at your goals and just read your goals out loud. I know it's kind of bullshit. There's also another diagram. 5% conscious thoughts. Yep. Yeah. I made these slides a bit ago. That's why a bunch of these things are now sort of new. But yeah, basically your conscious mind only accounts for 5% of the thoughts that you have on a regular basis. That's not going to load. I'm not going to read the article. Basically, your conscious mind only accounts for 5% of your actions that you take on a daily basis, and 95% of it counts as your subconscious mind. And to reprogram your subconscious mind to constantly be reminded of the goals that you want to achieve, if you just keep rereading the same goals every morning, even when you have memorized the goals, you still want to keep reading, because you read it, you listen to it, and it gets engraved in your head, and you want to make it a habit. Because trust me, if you get so deeply cultivated in just knowing exactly where your goals are, and exactly, let's say, the steps that you need to achieve them, trust me, you will subconsciously do a lot of work because your conscious mind cannot do that much. Your willpower, your logical thinking, your critical thinking, all of this, it doesn't last for long. And what we need to do is reprogram our subconscious mind. How to get results, which is just do all the things I've mentioned before. And that was my promise, to make sure you can get you a system that can make you do more work in 12 weeks than people do in 12 months. If you repeat this process in the year to come, trust me, you will be incredibly well. And you know what? As an actionable step for people, go in the comment section and write down the one specific goal that you're going to do for the next 12 weeks. One very specific goal. If you want to write 4 goals, write 4 goals and put a comment down below. And then come back 4 months later, or come back, a year later, and see how far you've went with this method. Because trust me, I've been using it around for like half of the year to pass. I've been using it since July, and trust me, it is just overpowered once you actually apply the things mentioned in this book. And if you can, go read it. It's a fairly good book, but this video summarizes most of the concepts. If you want more productivity lessons, coaching calls, all of that jazz, free Discord down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.